Welcome. Today, we're plunging into a world where magic isn't, the usual wands and cauldrons.
No, not at all.
Instead, our sources suggest something pretty radical. What if magic is actually found in chalk and logic and paradoxes?
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about analytic magic. It kind of flips the script on what magic could be.
It really does, pulling it away from just fantasy into something almost intellectual,
Yeah.
linguistic even.
Right. And our journey today comes from this amazing excerpt from a novel, KATABSIS.
Mm-hmm.
It follows two brilliant Cambridge grad students,
Mhm.
Alice Law and Peter Murdoch, on this, well, honestly, wild trip right into hell itself.
Wow. Okay, so our mission today.
We want to unpack the rules, the really intricate rules of this magical system, explore this very specific version of hell, its psychology, its philosophy.
And see what it all tells us about things like knowledge, truth, relationships.
Exactly. We'll follow Alice and Peter through academic squabbles, their own personal issues, and, yeah, the literal underworld.
Okay, let's jump in. Part 1. The peculiar power of analytic magic. How does logic, which we think of as so rigid, become, well, magical?
That's the fascinating core of it. Analytic magic is rooted in logic, in linguistic tricks. The goal, explicitly, is to defy, trouble, or, at the very least, dislodge belief.
Dislodge belief.
By cleverly reinterpreting natural laws, sort of bewildering them, suspending them for brief moments.
It's like finding a loophole.
Kind of, yeah. The idea is the universe's laws are maybe a bit fragile, and if you spin the right web of untruths, you can make reality itself seem, well, different than it is, just for a while.
A glitch in the matrix, almost.
All right.
And the key tool for this is paradox.
Precisely. Comes from the Greek, para against doxa belief. Against belief. That's the trick. You cast doubt, confusion, you basically taunt physics until it hiccups.
Can you give an example, like, this statement is false?
That's a classic, yeah. But the novel uses the Sorite's paradox, the heap of sand.
Oh, right. Remove one grain, it's still a heap. Remove another.
Exactly. Where does it stop being a heap? You can't pinpoint it. Magicians use these kinds of fuzzy logic problems to make the world momentarily fluid. Blur the lines so one could become 0, one could become 2.
That's genuinely mind-bending, using a logical knot to actually change things. And the tool for this is just chalk.
Yeah, humble chalk, made from, tiny ancient sea creatures compressed together.
Okay.
It's described as having this curious, still mysterious quality of manifesting magical statements. It's like a physical link to the deep past, the abyss, essential for drawing the spells.
And to hold all that reality-bending power, you need a pentagram.
Absolutely crucial. Pentagrams contain the energy you invoke. Even a tiny gap is disastrous if it concentrates the energy.
So they have this ant test.
Yeah, literally tracing the lines with a pencil to make sure every loop is closed, no gaps allowed.
Yeah.
And that detail, well, becomes very important later.
Right, okay. This all happens within the academic arena at Cambridge. The Department of Analytic Magic. Sounds intense.
Oh, it is. Highly competitive. And the big name there is Professor Jacob Grimes.
Grimes. Tell me about him.
He's described like Moses coming down Mount Sinai. Huge influence. Came from humble beginnings, was in the army, then became the War Office's warlock.
The War Office's warlock, seriously.
Yeah, known for things like perpetual flasks, Limba's bread,
Yeah.
stuff that never runs out. A real heavyweight.
Wow. And in this pressure cooker, we have Alice Law and Peter Murdoch, our protagonists, locked in this fierce rivalry.
Yeah, Alice is super driven, competitive. She just couldn't stand Peter.
Why? What was his deal?
Peter was the department darling. Simply born, brilliant, apparently guilelessly better than everyone else, even though he looked like he never tried.
Oh, one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Came from academic stock, unfailingly nice,
Mm-hmm.
which just seemed to make Alice even more resentful. It was intense, part academic, part personal.
And this rivalry, it leads somewhere dark. The catalyst, Grimes's demise. What happened there?
A terrible accident, supposedly. Alice was doing a routine experiment, just basic set theory stuff, but she was in a state of frustration and fury, presumably about Peter or Grimes or both, and she fudged the pentagram. Didn't close the loops properly.
Uh-oh. Based on what you said earlier.
Exactly. Bad news.
Mm-hmm.
The source says, chillingly, a piece of Professor Grimes, later identified as his liver, had, happily, landed square on that segment of the outer circle Alice had fudged.
Oh my God. Happily.
Yeah, dark humor there, I think.
Yeah.
The university hushed it up, of course,
Mm.
blamed faulty gas pipes. Classic cover-up.
Wow. Okay, that's quite the setup. Which leads us to part 2. Descent into a mirrored underworld. Alice feels she has to go to hell. What's the price?
It's steep, really steep. It's not just about knowing the spells, the proofs. It
Hmm.
costs immense organic energy.
How much?
For Alice, it was half my remaining lifespan.
Yeah.
About 30 years, just gone.
30 years. No wonder people don't do it often.
Exactly. Big academic prize, maybe, but the cost is enormous.
And when they get there, hell is a reflection. What does that mean?
It's described as a mirror. It adapts to whoever visits, reflecting the living world back at them. Alice sees Cambridge, but upside down, translucent, shuddering.
Creepy.
Yeah. Peter even says hell is a campus. It's meant to disorient souls, make the unfamiliar seem disturbingly familiar, suggest hell isn't one fixed place, but more subjective.
And importantly, in this world, hell isn't about eternal torment, right? It's about reincarnation.
Correct. The scholars who study hell, they call them Tartarologists.
Tartarologists love it.
Yeah. They agree hell just prepares souls for reincarnation, eternal punishment. That's seen as wildly unjust, disproportionate.
So it's more like a processing center.
Pretty much. Souls flow between worlds to keep a balance. A cosmic recycling system.
Oh, okay. So they start navigating the courts. It's linear through 8 courts of hell. First up, pride, a grand library.
Yeah, nicer than expected, apparently.
Yeah.
But it's still a trap, of course. They meet this shade, George Edward Moore.
The philosopher.
Seems like it. And he just hoards books. Doesn't read them, just collects them to prove you found them. But reading them, that's too much.
Ouch. Sounds like some academics I know.
Yeah, maybe. He tries to trap them with this fussy, pedantic logic puzzle about rules, basically highlighting academia's obsession with status over actual learning.
A sharp critique. Okay, next court, desire.
This one's different. It's full of endless compulsive loops, rote actions, uniform expressions of complacency,
Like what?
shades, just sniffing books obsessively, crude sexual encounters happening mechanically. Alice finds it repulsive, pathetic. She can't grasp this kind of gross physical desire. It's alien to her own genuine longing, whatever that might be.
Interesting contrast. And it's here we find out something crucial about Peter, right?
Oh.
Peter's hidden struggle.
Yeah, this is a big reveal. We learn Peter has severe Crohn's disease, chronic inflammatory bowel disease.
Wow. He kept that hidden.
Completely, since childhood. He learned early on that geniuses could be excused any idiosyncrasy, but illness, an ailing body, that had to be concealed.
That changes everything about him. His niceness.
Right. It recontextualizes it as a front, a carefully built defense.
Mm.
His sometimes erratic behavior. Maybe it was fear of being exposed, fear of Peter the Great's reputation vanished, replaced by Peter the Sixth.
God, that's heavy. Adds such depth to his character.
It really does. Explains so much about their dynamic, too.
And amidst all this psychological drama, hell apparently also has bad weather.
Oh, yeah. Randomly inclement weather. A sudden storm forces them into the desire court. Later, strong winds make it hard to leave. The environment itself is unreliable. Paths erase themselves. It adds to the whole disorientation.
Makes sense. Okay, onward journey. They reach the River Lethe, River of Forgetfulness.
That's the one. But the name has a double meaning. Lethe is Greek for forgetfulness, oblivion. But aletheia means truth.
Forgetfulness and truth, how do they connect?
That's the debate. Does stripping memories reveal your true self? Or do you need truth before you deserve forgetfulness, before reincarnation? For Alice, though, it's simpler. She's just tempted.
Tempted by oblivion.
Deeply. She feels this wild, burning elation, sees it as mercy, a way to wash away the dregs of her own mind, her loud thoughts. She's just exhausted by her own brain.
I think many people can relate to that feeling, but before she jumps in, bone things attack.
Yeah, these creepy constructs stitched together with gleaming, powdery chalk.
Chalk again?
Yep. These are the work of the Crypt Keys. Former illusionists, artists, they slit their throats, became not human anymore. Now they're on some great quest for knowledge in hell.
And they use travelers.
As research assistants,
I bet
basically
so.
disposable tools. And crucially, these chalk creatures, they don't like the water of the Lethe. It dissolves their algorithms.
Okay, convenient weakness. But they need rescue. And along comes Elspeth, the fairy woman.
Right. She's described as a calm, insightful voice of reason. A genius mathematician in life.
What happened to her?
She committed suicide, got fed up with academia, the rejection, the politics, the absolute farce of it all. Couldn't keep up the charade. Very cynical but sharp.
And she helps them.
Big time. She reveals that chalk can work in hell, but you need to mix it with her. Well, her not blood. A thick black-blue sludge.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it creates this phosphorescent green pentagram. Game changer for Alice.
Okay, that sets up part 3. Trials of the heart and mind, betrayal and transformation. They cross the bridge of petrified souls in the court of greed.
Literally a bridge made of souls turned to stone.
That's grim.
And when you step on them, they moan in specific pitches from Mozart's Symphony No. 25.
What? That's bizarrely specific and horrifying.
Yeah, it embodies greed, turning people into objects, suffering objects. And then they face the Weaver Girl's test.
Sounds ominous.
It is. She's this tragic figure, a deity abandoned by a mortal lover. She sets a trap. Alice and Peter have to choose, cross the next chasm together or alone.
What are the outcomes?
If both choose together, a bridge of stars, both alone into the Lethe. But if they choose differently, one gets safe passage, the other will wish for oblivion. Brutal.
Oh, man. And this is where Peter's sacrifice happens.
Yes. Alice chooses to go alone. Pragmatic, maybe, or selfish, depending on how you see it.
And Peter?
Peter chooses differently. He sacrifices himself. He decides to stay, creating a kind of shortcut for Alice using an Escher trap.
An Escher trap, like the drawings.
Sort of. Mathematically, it's described as a paradox bounding a finite volume within an infinite surface area. Gabriel's horn is the classic example.
Okay, my brain hurts.
He uses this paradox as logical knot to help her, knowing it won't save him. It's love, sure, but it's also pure Peter calculating the maximum expected outcome, even if it means his own end. Logic and emotion all tangled up.
Wow, that's profound. And devastating for Alice. This forces Alice's reckoning.
Totally. She has to face her true crime. The thought hits her. She had let Peter Murdoch die. She had killed Peter Murdoch. It breaks down that philosophical line between killing and letting die. Makes her rethink everything, probably even Grimes' death.
Now we also learn more about her own internal struggle here. Her tattoo and sensory overload.
Yeah, it explains so much. She lives with this constant, vicious procession of memories, random associations flooding her mind. It takes immense effort just to sort relevance, to rebuild a staircase by the hour, to keep in mind who I am.
So meditation, quiet.
Yeah.
Impossible for her.
Completely impossible. Her mind is never quiet. But even though Peter's gone, his ideas push her on.
How so?
His belief that no system is ever closed, that there's always another option. She remembers him telling her, trust your brain law, trust the process, we'll be all right. That becomes her mantra, almost.
And Elspeth fills her in more on the Kripkes and their great quest.
Right. Confirms they were artists, now not human anymore, obsessed with knowledge, using people. Their chalk constructs are super sophisticated, intellect's gone wrong. Oh, and apparently they don't mess with cats. Random, but noted.
Don't mess with cats. Good life advice, even in hell. But amidst all this darkness, there's Elspeth's unconditional grace.
Yeah, this is a beautiful moment. Despite her cynicism, Elspeth gives Alice a gift, a dialethea, a Janus-headed flower. A true contradiction. Both alive and dead, vibrant and deathly, like a pomegranate tree in the underworld.
A literal paradox flower.
Exactly. An impossible generosity that blows Alice's transactional mind. Elspeth just shrugs it off. Rules are so boring. Sometimes the gods like to play, just for the hell of it. It shows that even in rigid systems, unexpected things can happen. Grace can emerge.
Amazing. Okay, this leads us to part 4. Forging a new path. Confrontation and choice. Alice now has a new purpose. Revenge.
Oh, yeah. Fueled by guilt and rage over Peter, she decides, I'm going to kill the Kripkes.
How does she go about that?
She uses the bones of a dead cat. Remember, Kripkes don't mess with cats' armor. Finds this tactile competence, a pleasure, to just make things fall apart as she smashes the bone things.
And she uses a spell.
The Erichthos spell. Powerful necromancy she found in rotted archives, her first real independent research breakthrough. She's owning her power now.
But she falls into the Kripkes' trap.
Yeah, this horrible cuckoo clock mechanism, a xenotrap designed to kill a cat. They apparently value life based on most blood. It's twisted. Alice, trapped, has to resort to eating the cat's flesh to survive. Primal.
Grim. And the environment itself is still working against her, erasing paths.
Yeah, the terrain was confounding. The land taunted her. Roads vanished behind her, still reinforcing no way out but through.
While she's struggling, she meets John Gratis. Who's he?
A strange shade. He seems to delight in her pain, but then acts with grace and helps her. It's implied he was a mass murderer, maybe Jack the Ripper.
What a helpful Jack the Ripper.
Bizarre, right? But then he just walks off into the Lethe, his memories visibly peeling out. A really haunting image of dissolution.
Okay. Hell is weird. He leads her to the rebel citadel. Sounds different.
It looks different. Like an idyllic Roman city within hell. Here she meets Gertrude and her philosophy.
That's Gertrude's take.
She says reincarnation is for the weak. They can make our own paradise in hell.
Yeah.
They're waiting for this apocalyptic reversal where time and entropy run backwards towards order.
Wow. So build your own heaven and hell. That's defiant.
Totally.
Yeah.
A completely different approach to dealing with their situation.
And she sees trees as souls there.
Yeah, souls meditating so deeply, they're slowly transforming into trees, their most pleasing and stable form.
That sounds peaceful, but
Alice finds it terrifying. Time was done for them. Total stillness, total resignation. She sees it as a punishment they had wrought themselves and rejects it. She needs agency.
which brings her to the climax. Lord Yama's court, the final court, armed with the paradox flower and the spell.
Exactly. And who does she confront there? Professor Grimes.
Still around, even though he's, liver splattered.
Dead, but still himself.
Yeah.
Arrogant, dismissive. He actually likes hell. Calls it a perfect research environment. No distractions, no bodily needs.
Unbelievable.
And he totally dismisses Alice's Erechthon spell. Won't possibly work, he says, still stuck in his old ways.
But this time is different. Alice's triumph.
It is. She finally sees it clearly. Grimes hadn't just been dismissive. He destroyed her faith in her own ability to think. Empowered by her journey, her research, her survival, she uses her knowledge, proves him wrong, and forces him into the Lethe. Claims her intellectual independence. Shows her work is top-notch scholarship.
Yes, good for her. And then, a miracle. Peter returns.
Against all odds, yeah. He's resurrected. Turns out he made a deal, an exchange. His research notes, his work, his legacy, for his life back.
Wow. An exchange with hell itself?
Seems so. And now, emboldened, Alice bargains with the big boss, King Yama.
What does she ask for?
Basically, a refund from hell. Says she got rid of pests from him, the crypt keys, Grimes. She demands their lifespans back the years she lost.
Does it work?
Yama's response is cryptic. Hell has no rules. It leaves things ambiguous, underscoring how unpredictable this place is.
So the aftermath, they return. Changed.
Definitely changed. Unsure about the future, but their relationship, their understanding of each other is completely different, deeper, more complex.
And the final scene, the dissertation idea.
Yeah, Peter wonders if anyone would ever believe their story, their trip to hell. Alice just says, "I'm your proof."
Ah.
And Peter, ever the logician but clearly affected, replies, "You're biased. You're in love with me."
Ah. Does she answer?
She just blushes and says, "Hush." It leaves their whole complicated thing beautifully unresolved.
What a journey. So, recapping this deep dive, we've seen a hell that's less about pitchforks and more about psychology, academia, paradox.
Exactly. It's a mirror, reflecting our own world's obsessions, ambitions, vulnerabilities. It explored how far we'll go for knowledge, the cost of secrets, and how reality itself might be more pliable than we think. Alice's journey is one of forging her own identity against immense pressure.
So what's the takeaway for you listening right now? I think it's a reminder that even systems that seem totally rigid logic, academia, maybe society itself, they might have hidden flex points, cracks.
Possibilities you don't expect. The world might feel fixed, but maybe, just maybe, like analytic magic, you can find the paradoxes, the loopholes to make things shift, even just a little.
Find ways to make it dance to your whims, as the source said.
Yeah. And here's a final thought, straight from the text. The reason why paradoxes trouble us is not because their conclusions are true. The laws of the universe get their say. Things always snap back. A paradox always eventually runs out its charge. The only reason why paradoxes perpetuate for as long as they do is because we let them.
Because we let them. So the question for you is, what paradoxes, what contradictions or impossible situations in your own life are you perhaps unknowingly perpetuating just by letting them? Something to chew on.